Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Legends of 40K. And I thought we'd talk about a big bad in this one. Mephiston, Lord of Death, Blood Angels special character. He's a Librarian special character. So, let's jump right into him. He's 250 points. Weapon skill of 7, ballistic skill of 5, strength and toughness of 6, 5 wounds, initiative 7, 4 attacks, leadership 10, 2+ save. He's infantry and unique. He has 3 psychic powers: a sanguine sword, unleash rage, wings and sanguinous. He has artificer armor, plasma pistol, force sword, frag and crack grenade, psychic hood. And he has special rules: and they shall know no fear, fleet, psyker, transfixing gaze. So as a psyker, he knows those 3 psychic powers and can use 3 psychic powers each turn. And transfixing gaze lets him, at the beginning of the assault phase, he can attempt to enthrall a single enemy independent character in base contact. Once selected, the target immediately takes a leadership test with a -4 modifier. Double 1 always passes. If the test is passed, there is no ill effect. If the test is failed, Mephiston rerolls all failed attempts to hit and to wound against the enthralled target for the duration of that assault phase. Note that being enthralled does not prevent the target from attacking, provided he survives long enough, of course. So, before I go into my thoughts about his entry and how I would use him, or my opinions on using him, I want to go over his model. That's what I do with these things. And before that, I want to make it clear, Legends of 40K is just a video series in which I show you a particular special character, one special character video. And the purpose of that is not to say, you know, somebody's really broken or somebody really sucks. It's not to try and bring ideas to fix or balance, quote-unquote, special characters out. It's just to show you them in general, give you knowledge on them in case you don't go out and collect the codices or read up on other enemy special characters. Plus some of my opinions and stuff, because that's always fun. So, the model. I like his model. I've seen it in person. It looks very nice. His psychic hood is that really tall collar that he has. It's a little silly looking, but it works. He's got the pseudo-vampiric theme that Blood Angel's got going on in his head with his hair and his face. He also has the Greco-Roman theme going on there, in a sinister, deathly type of way with his armor, especially the quote-unquote nipple armor of his chest armor. And it's got the motifs of death all around with the skulls everywhere. He's got his interesting looking force weapon there, and he has a plasma pistol. It's a very neutral pose, a very safe pose. He could be like he just finished fighting, he's just about to fight, or whatever. I like the look. It's just that this is an old look. He's had this look pretty much since I can remember seeing Mephiston. I think it's time to give him a different look. I think it's about that time. And that's not a bad thing. It's not like I'm saying the model's terrible. I don't think it is. I just think it's old. He needs new life in him, so to speak. And if you have the codex, page 47, his entry has a pretty cool art right there that I think would be a pretty cool pose to do for a new model for him. It's not that different from what he's got going on now, but it's different enough that it would be cool looking. Anyway, overall, I do like the model. That being said, what do I think about his entry? Well, firstly, you have to keep in mind, Mephiston has always been above average in terms of stat line for Space Marines. In all his previous incarnations and all different codices, he's always had slightly, I want to say slightly, he's always had something about him that made him stand out stat line wise. In the PDF codex, he had something, he was pretty powerful as well. And in this one, there's no exception. He says he's going to have something like that. That's part of his shtick. the fact that it only knows those 3 psychic powers is pretty interesting. Now, the 3 good psychic powers, not going to go over what they do, here, but they are good, and especially for him. But you have to keep in mind, at least what I feel librarians are meant to be, which is something that can kind of bolster your forces overall, as well as be a direct conduit of power to destroy things. Mephiston only covers one half of that coin. He's only that direct conduit of power to destroy things. He doesn't really have anything to bolster those around him. So it doesn't really do any kind of like crippling effects either. He just has straight enhancements to kill you, pretty much. So with that being said, I'm not going to go into the fluff reasons why he has that stat line. Pretty much, those of you who know it, and it's not that hard to find. I just don't want to go into it because I may tell it, not wrongly, but I may not tell it fully correctly, so I don't want to do that. But overall, I think his entry is fine. Now, he does have drawbacks. He has no invulnerability save. He's heavy. He's points heavy. He's not an independent character. There are things that balance out his power. And to be quite honest with you, before I go into how I would use him, I want to say, in my entire career of playing and seeing Blood Angels being played, I've only seen Mephiston used on 2 separate occasions, and only one of them was in a tournament. And I've seen plenty of Blood Angels in tournaments. So, I've played personally in a few tournaments, but I've watched other tournaments and so on, and I haven't seen Mephiston in any real capacity in a list that people really worried about, quote unquote. So, just food for thought. That's how it is, at least around me. I don't know. Maybe around you, Mephiston lists dominate. I don't know, but really, I'm just basing what I've seen, and I haven't even seen that much of the local scene, to be honest with you. At least for me. So, I've only seen Mephiston used twice total. Take that for what you will. Point being, I think his entry is fine. Is he powerful? Yeah, I'm not going to deny that, but I don't think it's anything really to cry about or worry about. Now, how would I use him? Well, you have to be aggressive with Mephiston. You're not going to really score any points with him, hanging him back, trying to be supportive that way, as librarians sometimes tend to be. He's going to be right in there in the thick of it. And with that in mind, you have to utilize your army to support him, and for him to support your army. I would utilize vehicles. I'm trying to think. Vehicles for blocking line of sight. I would utilize other squads to hit the same squad who's assaulting, just to help him out. It's always good to support. But my primary goal with him would be to attack enemy HQs and independent characters because of his transfixing gaze, the sanguine sword power. It's just helpful. He's really a anti-HQ type of Space Marine special character, and I would utilize that as best you could. And then after that, then you could go assault elites, troops, whatever. Maybe blow up some vehicles if you really want to. But I would utilize him as the anti-HQ first and foremost. And you don't even, depending on that role, depending if it's like a command squad type thing like the Imperial Guard, or depending on if it's just got numbers like a HQ with a command squad, like a captain with a command squad or something, you may want to support him with another squad assaulting in as well as him. But if it's something by itself, not attached to a squad, you can just do it solo. Chances are they may be attached to a squad, so you're probably going to want to assault him with something else, but have him target the HQ or the independent character. But that's how it would be. I would be aggressive with him that way, but safe. I know it seems like a contradiction, but you don't just want to run him down the board as fast as you can, willy-nilly. He's going to get blown apart. He has no invulnerability save. They will mass fire to bring him down because people will be afraid of him. So, once you take down an HQ, depending how well Mephiston's doing, if he's still alive, I would assault either troops after that, or assault into elites. He can deal with multi-wound models provided they don't have higher than toughness 5, because then he can just use his sanguine sword to deal with that, the sanguine sword power. But if you don't need to do that, like just single wound models, you don't need to do that. You can utilize Unleash Rage to help him out against single wound models. Or you can help him out in general, I mean, even with Sanguine Sword. So, really, I know I'm repeating myself here, but attack HQs, independent characters with him, support him in his assaults with having like a assault marine squad or even death company or whatever it is, assaulting with him into the same thing with him. That way it helps whittle him down. It helps him. He's going to go first, so if he can go after the independent character, he may be able to drop that, and then however it goes after that, he may be able to survive the encounter depending on how big of a squad he assaulted into, if he has support. Without support, if he assaults into a big squad, he may do lots of wounds, but he could be dragged down by sheer weight of numbers. It happens to 5-man Terminator squads. It can happen to Mephiston even with his enhanced stat line. There's not too much else to say. That's how I would utilize him. You definitely utilize his psychic powers. Sanguine Sword is pretty much always a good idea. Unless you're worried about Perils of the Warp that much, or you want to save it. Like, let's say you used 2 psychic powers already, and you want to save it for his force weapon, go ahead. Or you just don't want to use Sanguine Sword. He's still fine with his basic strength. So, that can definitely work well. But I definitely use Sanguine Sword for enemy independent characters where it would cause instant death to do so, just to make each wound that's much more of a scary wound. Like, for example, against a Space Marine captain, if you were able to do 3 wounds to him in total, let's say, if he just did it at his normal strength, they wouldn't be instant death if he failed. But now if you did 3 instant death wounds to them, chances are they're probably going to fail one of those and die. So that's how you have to look at it. And after that, run off into enemy elites with support, or run into enemy troops. Either way. Also, he can be fairly effective against vehicles too. I mean, this is the case where once you go after the HQ, after that, Mephiston pretty much is going to have dealer's choice. Whatever you want to try and support him with and slam him into with support will work for you. His main goal is done. You can pretty much quote-unquote have some fun with him, or assault the next biggest threat, and so on. Anyway, I hope that was somewhat useful and helpful as far as my opinions and thoughts on Mephiston, and mostly utilizing him. And if you didn't know anything about him, now you'll learn something. Again, he's always been kind of billed as this stronger than the average Space Marine type of guy with his incredible stat line in one way or another. It's just been getting a little bit more powerful with each incarnation, and it's nothing new. It may be for some of you new players out there, but some of you who've been through a couple incarnations of the Codex, it's nothing really new. As powerful as he looks on the outside, he does have some pretty big drawbacks and weaknesses, and he can be brought down just the same as anybody else. And aside from his stat line, it's not that hard to bring him down. What you would use to go against Space Marines, Plasma for example, things of that nature, will work just as well against Mephiston as it would against any other Marine and any other Marine HQ. More so, in fact, with the fact that he does not have an invulnerability save. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Leave your thoughts, as I'm sure many of you will. I just personally don't think Mephiston is that big of a deal as people make him out to be. He's still cool, and I still think he would be a lot of fun if I was a Blood Angel player, just to have some fun and play with him. I think he'd be cool. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I don't play Blood Angels, by the way. I said if I was a Blood Angel player. I don't know if the if came out. I'm kind of tired. I may have forgot to say that. But anyways, that's it. So until next time, take it easy.